Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on The Flash, Season 3, and this is going to be my review for episode 22, the penultimate episode of this season, the second last episode, otherwise entitled Infantino Street. Now just a little, Easter egg, I guess, behind the name. Infantino is actually the last name of Carmine Infantino, who was the creator of Barry Allen. So if you're wondering if the name meant anything, that's what it meant. So obviously there will be spoilers within this review, and there's some decent things to talk about, so be sure to have actually watched the episode before you watch this video, because we got a few things to talk about. So obviously, last episode we saw the Speed Force bazooka, or like the weapon used or made to go up against Savitar. We saw it completed, but it was missing one vital ingredient or part, if you want to call it that, and that was actually the power source for it. And there's not many things on planet Earth that could power it, but luckily Team Flash has found one of these sources, which is, well, where we spend most of this episode trying to get it. Now, the beginning to this episode was very somber. It was 24 hours until Iris was to die. We saw all the different characters going through the thing, just through their emotions and their, how they're preparing for what's to come. We even get like a little appearance from Felicity Smoke, sort of, when Cisco gets a text from her, and she's like, I have no idea what you could find to power this weapon. But as we saw at the beginning of last episode, it wasn't really a revelation for this episode, but the power supply is actually within Argus for the Speed Force bazooka, and it's a piece of the Dominator technology. And as I said in my trailer breakdown, and I think even my review from last week, it's cool that they're tying in events from the crossover into different episodes of the season. Now, I wasn't very surprised that Lila was against Barry and, Cisco as well in regards to helping them, just because Lila just doesn't trust Barry. She's had to go through the ramifications or the consequences of what Barry did, I guess, at the end of last season and the beginning of this season with Flashpoint, and the fact that she, technically lost a daughter, even though a daughter just got replaced with a son, so you can't really say she lost a child. She just had the sex of the child changed, but she lost an experience of what it would be like to have a daughter. But I think it's very understandable why Lila didn't trust Barry. Now, the issue that Team Flash and Barry had to face, I think, made sense. Like, Argus just wouldn't be like a plain building. Of course, they're going to have technology to stop special people from getting in, because, well, they're a highly secured facility. Now that the world has changed with metahumans and stuff, you would think they would have technology to go against that, and that's why they have a metahuman dampener or metahuman ability dampener throughout Argus's facilities, so it stops people from coming in. Which is why we need an expert Faith, and that's why we meet Captain Cold. He comes and enters. Now, Captain Cold was with the Legends in 1892 in Siberia. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, they never went to Siberia in 1892 in Season 1, so maybe they were just stopping off there to have a break, get out of the time vortex or whatever it's called, so maybe they were just settling there, and Barry just knew where they were. If they did go there in an episode, let me know, but I'm pretty sure they didn't. Now, was I the only one that got the Taken quote there when Barry asks Captain Cold that he has a particular set of skills? I'm pretty sure that's from the movie Taken, when Liam Neeson's on the phone talking to the people that kidnapped his daughter, and he's like, I have a particular set of skills, and, I'll find you and I'll kill you. I'm pretty sure that's from Taken. I'm pretty sure, so let me know if I'm correct with that. Now, was I the only one that didn't even notice that Tracy wasn't aware that Barry was the Flash? It just went over my head. I guess it's because the last couple of episodes, basically since Tracy's been on the show, so much has been happening that I did not even notice that Tracy didn't know that Barry was the Flash. I just thought she knew. But I don't know, was I the only one that didn't notice that, or am I just an idiot and just wasn't paying attention? Now, I thought this episode was really good. I'll go into what I really thought of it at the end, but there was one thing that sort of annoyed me. Plothole with Barry posing as Lila when they go into Argus. HR's device, or I guess it's Randolph Morgan's device, but the device that HR used to change his face, it's only meant to change a face, but it changed like Barry's entire body, like the way his body was shaped, his height, and his face, and his hair going to Lila. I'm pretty sure it's a plot hole, because I'm pretty sure HR explains earlier this season it's only meant to change your facial features, so unless it's got a massive upgrade, that's a bit of a plot hole, but let me know what you think of that. Now, we actually had a really cool moment when we went into Argus with Captain Cold and Barry. When we went past the different cells within Argus, especially down low, we saw Grodd. He had a little cell, or it was probably a big cell, he's a big gorilla. We saw Cupid, we didn't actually see them, we just see their names on the thing, but we saw Cupid as well, who is from Arrow, if you don't watch Arrow. And we also saw another villain who we haven't seen on any of the shows before, and that is Cheetah, and that's actually a Wonder Woman villain. So I don't know if that's like just a little nod because the Wonder Woman movie is coming out in like 2 weeks, but I thought that was pretty cool that they have Cheetah in Argus. Now, if anyone's ever told you that watching Shark Week is a massive waste of time, I think you just got to show them this episode, because Captain Cold proves that spending your time watching Shark Week definitely pays off when it comes to knowledge on sharks, when they lower the room temperature to make King Shark go for a bit of a lullaby nap. Now, I was only one that got the meta joke, or like the inside joke about Jaws not showing the shark in the movie for a lot of the movie, just due to the fact that they couldn't cost it. That's exactly like the Flash when it comes to King Shark. They can't show him too much. They can just reference what he's doing and stuff, or show like quick flashes of him, or he has to be underwater or something, because he costs a lot. So I don't know if anyone else got that inside joke. So it's basically the Flash making fun of the Flash. It's making fun of its own show, which I thought was pretty funny. Now, Barry's goodbye to Captain Cold I thought was good, because you got to realize that this would be the last time that Barry's speaking to the version of Captain Cold that goes and sacrifices himself towards the end of Legends of Tomorrow Season 1. So Barry had to give a goodbye that wasn't too obvious to Captain Cold that he maybe isn't around in the future. So I thought the goodbye was nice. And you even hear Captain Cold go, "No strings on me," which is obviously the line that he uses. It's his last line on the show when he's about to sacrifice himself. He goes, "There are no strings on me." So I thought that was nice that they tied those two events together. Now, one thing I thought was pretty good and pretty smart by Savitar Barry was him posing as normal Barry to get Iris's location, which is actually on Earth 2. So it was cool to go to Earth 2, even if it was only for like 2 scenes or 3 scenes or something. It was still cool to go over there. We haven't been there for a while. Now, the Wally vs Savitar fight was pretty interesting. Wally got his ass handed to him, and did he break his leg, or was it just like knocked his knee or something? He did something to him. So Wally's incapacitated, probably not going to be able to do anything in the finale. Even though the speedsters do have accelerated healing, the finale in this episode are going to be pretty close together in regards to a time frame. So I don't know what's going to happen there, if Wally's going to be able to do anything in the finale, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, Savitar Barry's conversation with Joe was fairly interesting. I was expecting a bit more. I was hoping for maybe like a 1 or 2, maybe 3-minute scene between them, but a lot happened in this episode, so I can understand why maybe there wasn't too much of a conversation between the two. We might get some in the finale, which I hope, but I really was hoping for more interaction between this version of Barry, like the one that became Savitar, and Joe, and possibly Iris as well. But I don't know, they might do that in the finale, but I just thought they might have done a bit more in this episode. Now, one thing I've actually really liked this season, a lot of people might have overlooked it, and that's actually Cisco and HR Wells' story this season, because if you remember to earlier this season, you know, Cisco hated HR, did not like him, and as the season has gone on and progressed, they've grown closer together, and I think that's really that was similar with Earth 2, Harry as well, throughout the season. Like, there was some animosity and stuff, but then when the season goes on right to the end, they grow closer. So I really do like that. I think the Cisco and Harrison Wells, no matter what version of him, that relationship is a really strong one on the show, and I actually really like to see how they progress throughout the seasons. So I don't know if I was the only one that noticed that, but I think this was like a nice little cherry on top, if you want to call it that, this episode, because I think in the finale there's going to be too much happening for them to really properly wrap up that little storyline between them two this season, so I thought they finished it off pretty well. Obviously, we had the Killer Frost vs. Vibe fight, which didn't properly end, so it's going to be interesting to see where that picks up next episode, but that's really all we can talk about. It was basically a recreation of the vibe that Cisco had really early this season. It was like episode 7 or 6 or something, so it's sort of like a recreation of that. But yeah, we'll have to see where that picks up next episode. But the big part of this episode, which is going to have a lot of people talking throughout this week leading up to the finale, is that we actually experienced the future scene, even though it's technically the present scene, but you know, the future scene we have seen all this season from like episode 9, 10, 15, I think another episode as well. We finally see it play out, and we think that Barry's got Savitar. He actually has him within the Speed Force Bazooka's stream or ray or whatever you want to call it. And we think, oh, okay, Savitar's stuck. He's going to get sucked into the Speed Force prison. Iris is sweet. She's going to live. Unfortunately, Savitar's got a bit of an ace up his sleeve. Is that the correct term? Something like that. He's got the good old Philosopher's Stone, which is created from pure Speed Force energy, which is basically preventing the Speed Force Bazooka from actually working, which obviously leads to the Speed Force Bazooka being completely useless at this point, and Iris dies. Iris dies exactly the same way that we saw in the future scene that we've seen all the season, as I said before. Stabbed with the metal blade, exactly the same. Wow, like that's incredible. Like what the hell? Like I have been saying all this season that I think Iris would still die, but let me explain like in like a minute or two what's going to actually happen. But I wasn't surprised that this actually happened just because it was the second last episode. I was like, well, Savitar's not going to be defeated here, so something's going to go wrong. And that's exactly what happened. But it was the stuff that followed I think was more interesting, like hearing Iris's video message where she actually like accepts, you know, takes the wedding vows and stuff like that. And then watching Joe's reaction to that moment was really, really tough. Because we'd seen Barry's reaction in that future scene before, but we hadn't seen like that video message from Iris or Joe's reaction, which was pretty damn tough to watch. But as I sort of alluded to before, is Iris really dead? Well, yeah, at this moment, she's dead. She's been stabbed by Savitar. She's not alive. But we've got another episode to go. And I think Barry is probably going to run through time and do everything right that went wrong last episode. So basically, HR probably revealing Iris's location so that doesn't happen as quick, because Savitar didn't know where Iris was. Like, he could have run around the different Earths and probably eventually found her. But you got to realize at that point, he didn't know where she was. It would have taken him extra time to actually find her. So, yeah, like the timeline would have been different. So I'm assuming time travel is going to happen next episode. I haven't watched the promo for next episode, so just letting you guys know that. I don't watch it before I do these reviews just because it sort of gives stuff away that I don't really want to know at this point. But I am very, very intrigued to see what happens next episode. Iris is going to be alive come next season. I just can't see them killing her off again following this. I think things are going to change. But I don't know, she could still die. I did say much earlier this season that I wouldn't be surprised if she just died. Like, it was almost like a throw-off. Them doing all this effort to save her, like they were trying to make it obvious that she was going to be saved, that it would be a cool twist if she actually did die. But seeing that they killed her in this episode, I think things are going to change and someone else might die. We'll have to wait and see, but I don't think she's going to be dead at the end of the season. I don't think I'm the only one in thinking that. But this episode, like I'm getting into my actual overall thoughts now, I thought was actually one of the best episodes of the season. The only negative I really had was that scene when Lila, or quote unquote Lila, and Captain Cold break into Iris, like Barry posing as Lila, because that's like a plot hole with the facial or whatever it's called, the face changer thing. That's a plot hole because they said earlier this season it just changes the facial things. There's been no hint at it being improved in regards to technology and to changing the whole body shape and stuff. My only negative with the episode, the rest of the episode, amazing. Can't wait to see what happens with the Vibe Killer Frost stuff. Can't wait to see what happens in the finale, just around defeating Savitar. Is Iris really dead? Preventing her death? Changing things? It's going to be insane, but I will have my trailer breakdown out for that finale later on, so keep your eyes out for that. But yeah, it's going to be insane. But if you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like on it. Let me know in the comment section down below what was your favourite part of the episode. Do you think Iris will still die in the finale, even if Barry tries to change things? Or do you think it's going to be someone else, and who do you think it will be? And also, do you think we'll get a cliffhanger come the end of the season, and what do you think that cliffhanger will be? Let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.